Now, you've written a lot about your family's time in internment camps before, but never like this, so why a graphic novel?
Well, you know, to this day, I bump into people that I consider well-informed, well-read people, and I share my childhood imprisonment with them, and they're aghast. They can't believe that I was imprisoned in my own country by my own government simply because of this, my face, my Japanese ancestry. So, you know, that got me to thinking. Adults today don't know about it because our history books, certainly when I was a teenager, had nothing about it in it. And many of these people grew up not knowing about it in their education or in their entertainment,
right,
or in their culture.
Right.
And I've written about it. I wrote my autobiography in 1994, and we developed a musical on the internment,
right, I
Allegiance, on Broadway. And yet, you know, there are so many people that don't know about it. I grew up on comic books. I remember my comic books, you know, and so we thought, this is a way to reach young readers, young Americans, young adults, and to share this story with them emotionally when they are so absorbed at an age when they absorb information that stays with them as they grow up.
Right.
They're the future. And so I call this my book of hope, that the future of America will have people who grow up knowing that this kind of horrible thing happened to innocent people simply because of war hysteria and racism and political leaders who failed.
Right. And even though your experience was during World War II, I mean, this issue couldn't be more timely or resonant right now. So what lessons from your story do you really hope apply to readers today?
When we were imprisoned, the media, politicians, everyone made these sweeping generalizations. We are all potential spies, saboteurs, fifth columnists, when without any evidence of that, simply because we look like this, they made that gross generalization. We were lawyers, we were shopkeepers, my grandparents were farmers. We were all these things. We were not any of the things that they accuse of being. Today, we make the same kind of sweeping generalizations about Latinos who are coming to our southern borders out of desperation, leaving violence and crushing poverty with their children, literally fleeing for their lives. Many women have seen their husbands murdered right in front of them. And then they meet a new horror. And the characterization is they're all drug dealers, rapists, and criminals. Or, after 9/11, Donald Trump made the sweeping statement, we've got to have a complete and total ban on Muslims coming into this country because they're all potential terrorists, with no evidence of that, except for 9/11. There are Muslims that are businessmen, dentists, shopkeepers, but these sweeping generalizations are characterizing a minority group.
Right.
That is what happened to us. And this is a book of hope that by having young people who grow up knowing this history and knowing what America, this great nation and our democracy, is capable of, and they refuse to let that happen again, then the kind of things that's happening now hopefully will be prevented. Our book of hope.
Your
They
book of
called
hope.
us enemy.